You should be ashamed of what you brought in. Pardon?
Me too.
Okay, good. We have some others that did too. But the difference is they came at 9:30, so I could review theirs. Yes. So anybody who does theirs, come in next week at 9:30, and I will spend as much time as that half an hour allows before class to kind of go through yours. I won't look at yours again. You know what you need to do. Okay. Now, it was really funny. All three of them are completely different. I think that's so fabulous. I think that honestly shows their personalities. That's what this should be about. Remember, when we're doing a listing presentation, it is about building relationships. And it's easier to build a relationship if you can be your true self. So I advise you to be personal in your presentations. Okay. All right. What, Amy?
Can I ask a follow-up on that?
Yes.
I've heard some things about like a pre-listing presentation that you send,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's also the listing presentation.
Right.
Do you recommend sending a shortened version with
Okay.
an email and then
So did we-
more?
So did we talk about that last week? Yes, we did. So we had the video that I send out, my team sends out, and that is what I think of as our pre-listing. So who remembers what was in the video?
The pre-listing video,
Mhm.
you had the three people that were in the house, and they're basically saying that we want to prepare you for when Leo Rivers
Yeah,
comes
the
here.
appointment.
And so this will give you an idea as something about our team and what
Yeah.
we're doing.
They just went to a model home. Three of the guys on my team did a little video. The builder of the home, salesperson builder, pretended to be a client, and we just did it in a model home. And then we attached two things to that video. What did I attach to that video? Seller's disclosure, so they could get that done before I got there. And I tell them that on the phone call, setting the appointment, that I'm going to send them that, so that that's her homework assignment. What was the other thing that was attached? The strategic marketing plan. Okay, our marketing, not the whole listing presentation, but the actual marketing plan. So when I talk to you about going out and doing your two homework assignments, one is a listing presentation, a visual, whether it's in this kind of form or this kind of form or something visual. And the other is to do a video. And I don't, again, expect the videos to be perfect. And they don't need to look like mine, but I think it lets the people know a little about you by seeing you. You're less scary, by the way, once they see your face and they go, oh, she kind of looks normal, or she looks like a grandmother in my case. Okay. But the other reason is nobody else is doing that. So if they're going to talk to three other agents, do you not want to stand out from the get-go? Yeah. Simple way to do it. By the way, once you record it, you're done. You don't have to do it again. It's a system. Anything you're going to have to do 3 times, you make a system for. Okay. So Hunter, have we got some videos? I will. Okay. All right. So, what are you bringing? If you did not bring it today, what are you bringing next week? Visual listing presentation. Thank you. What else? For next week, we are gonna need docs next week. So your listing documents, do put that down. We are gonna need listing docs next week. But then also I want you to bring your video. Okay? So 3 things you'll be bringing with you. And for anybody who wants me to look at their presentation, what time do you need to be here next week? 9:30. Now, oh hell, if you're all here at 9:30, I'm in big trouble. Okay, so I'll come at 9 next week. Okay, so we can get a few more people in. And if not, if I can't get you in, we've got 2 more weeks after that I can also look at them. So we'll see about doing that. Okay? All right, how are we doing now, Hunter? Still working on it? Okay, still working on it. Okay, when you talk about, Lorraine brought up the documents, so I said come prepared for a listing. So my listing docs are in my packet. We're actually, next week is the week we go through these documents. I'll have them up here, so if anybody wants to look at them before they leave today to see what documents I have in here, you're more than welcome to. Today's presentation is solely on the actual listing presentation and going over pricing. Okay? All right. Anybody have any questions? I'm trying to kill time. All right. So we're going to be role playing. Okay. And I'll come over here and role play with Amy. And is this a video camera?
Yeah, it's video. It's recording. Yeah.
Oh,
You look wonderful.
thank you.
You're making your own video.
Fooling myself. I'm a grandma. Okay. So we're going to have to change the camera because I'm going to have to sit and do an actual presentation. So I will tell you that those of you who are back in the back, that's going to be a challenge for you. You may want to come and squeeze in closer. Secondly, I think I'll put the camera not on me, but on the pages. So as you're listening to the video, you see what I'm covering in the presentation. Does that make sense? I think that's a whole lot better than staring at me. Okay. And Amy, are you and Lorraine okay if I do the presentation to you? Okay. And yeah, why don't you bring the chairs over here?
Yeah, maybe we just set the computer right here.
Yeah, right here is good. And then we're going to put this back around so that they're actually seeing
You want
The-
the table? Or
just a couple of chairs right here. We'll just do it across this table. Thank you. And then we'll change the camera angle so we are looking at the paperwork, not looking at the other. So you two, right here. Thank you. So today is not about being Stump the Chump and see if you can give me every weird objection you could ever think of. However, I'm not opposed to having some objections. I just know that the process of this is not a Stump the Chump class. That's a whole different class. Okay. All right. And then, okay, got that changed so we can do that. All right. So you're going to be sisters. I'll come up with our little story problem here.
guys, just when you respond, maybe speaking to the mic so the whole room can hear you.
That'd be great. So you're going to be sisters. Mom just passed away. And so you're looking at selling mom's house. Let's do that since I've got two girls here. So, Lorraine, when I talked to Amy on the phone, she said that you live out of state. Where are you living?
We're in Arizona.
In Arizona? Okay, so not too far. Lorraine, what is your best phone number?
801
Okay.
368 7489.
Okay, wonderful. And the best email for you?
LODriscoll@msn.com.
Okay, perfect. And Amy, I've had your number in my phone, but let's go ahead and give it to me. What is that
Great.
number?
801-362-9511.
Wonderful. And your email?
atmont@kw.com.
Okay, excellent. Thank you both so much. So I am so sorry to hear about your mom. And I know this is not an easy time. And I understand the two of you are co-executors. So how many siblings or beneficiaries are you having to be responsible to keep communicated with?
There's 7 of us.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Located.
Okay. So if any of them have any questions, feel free to have them give me a call. But your siblings aren't going to understand what a big responsibility this is. And I have a lot of clients that have gone through this. And honestly, I'm telling you both, it's a big responsibility. Not just the selling of the house, but the closing of accounts and the paperwork and the mementos that mean things. I mean, it's just a difficult thing to have to go through, especially after her passing. So I'm here to try to help you with anything that I can. And I do really appreciate all that you're doing for your family.
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate
That
your
means a
help.
lot.
Good. You're welcome. So timing wise for mom's house, what are you hoping for as far as how fast do you want this sold? How much time do you think you need? Tell me a little about what's going to happen here because you're not even in town.
That's right.
Yeah. So Amy, this
So
is
a
on
lot
you.
of that falls on me. So
That's
I'm
what I'm
feeling the
thinking.
pressure, and I really want to take my time to go through those things and maybe bring all our siblings together and have a time maybe in a month or two to meet all together and go through those things. I'm not emotionally ready to rush this.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
Yes, and we do have quite a bit we still need to remove.
Okay.
She was a bit of a hoarder.
Well, when you live in a house for 30 years, human beings' job is to fill every square inch. It looks like Mom was good at her job.
She
So I mean,
was.
really, this is to be expected. To be expected.
Thanks.
So-
That feels, sometimes I feel a little embarrassed by that.
Oh, no, no, no.
I feel much better hearing that's okay.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Come to my house. I've lived there 26 years. I appreciate. So the family members, the other 5 that are not here, not executors, where do they live? Are they in state, out of state?
They're all over the country, even one
Okay.
in, I've got a brother in Thailand, so we're all over. This is
Okay.
gonna be a really
The rest are,
overwhelming process.
yeah, he's the farthest. And then in Idaho, Pennsylvania. Where's she
Shoot.
at? She's in
Yeah,
California.
she just moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So are they coming? They came for the funeral, right?
Right,
They did.
everyone made
Okay.
it.
yes.
So are you thinking your brother from Thailand is going to come back again?
Probably not. We might miss him. But
Yeah.
hopefully everyone in the States can get together in
Okay.
a month and just be there
Okay.
in the home, going
Okay.
through all of the things.
Yeah.
So
we
are
wanna
you
make sure
thinking?
they can
Yeah.
get what they would like.
Okay, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So are you thinking that if they're traveling, you've got a holiday weekend, 4th of July is way too soon. That's 3 weeks away. That might be difficult. What about Pioneer Day weekend?
Thanks for helping pick some dates. I haven't even had time to think of those dates, but that
Well,
might be
I
a good one.
I think that having a goal dates would be good for us because it would push us and, get
No,
it done. I mean,
you
we
really-
don't want it to last forever.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really do. And the challenge, I'm not in any hurry, but the challenge you have is when is the biggest buying season? During the summer months.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if you fall into winter, it's okay by me, but we have less buyers. So, if we're trying to get the best money for the beneficiaries, we should at least keep that in mind. Certainly it's your decision, but we should keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
I'm feeling pretty good about end of July. That gives us, I like that
I think
idea.
we can.
Okay. And then I think the next game plan is we need to figure out if they all come, let's play pretend for a minute. Let's say they all come for the 24th of July. And then they're on their way. Then there should be someone who comes and picks up everything that was not chosen as a memento by the family. And by the way, the grandkids may love like taking a washer and dryer, where you girls probably don't need a washer and dryer. You might have a grandchild who could use a washer and dryer moving into their first place. But there needs to be a plan for once it's all gone.
Yeah.
So I want you all to think about that. And
Truck
where
and trailer.
truck and trailer, I've got a hauler. I call him Troy or Clay, my hauler. I can give you his number. He'll come and haul and take it anywhere you want him to take it. He'll also take it to the dump if you want him to do that. He doesn't care. You just need to instruct him. But again, if they're driving here, there may be some other pickup trucks and maybe you all can handle the getting rid of stuff. But if they're flying in,
Yeah.
I don't want it all falling on Amy. It's a big job to then everybody walk away and go, okay, you're stuck with the rest of it, Amy.
Well, we're in this together, but we will be wise in distributing responsibilities where we can.
Okay.
Can
good.
we leave just some of the stuff in the house, like washer, dryer, fridge? Can we,
I'd like you to
I'm
leave.
getting a little overwhelmed. Can we just not do what,
Mhm.
how,
So
that okay?
appliances are fine to leave. Matter of fact, I would prefer you leave a refrigerator. When somebody buys a house in Utah, they really expect a refrigerator is going to be there. The washer and dryer would probably be a bonus, so you could leave it. But you've got a grandkid who's looking for one. You also can do that with that, but not with the fridge. As far as the other things, furniture, things like that, no, it all has to go. And if we don't have it go, then the reality is later you have to have it go
Yeah.
before they sell, before they close. And
Okay.
then it's, again, you're either coming up and the two girls are lifting sofas or it's gone.
Right.
What I can do is I can, if we get it emptied, then I could stage it, virtually stage it.
Mm.
And that way it would look great online, but that gets you emptied. You need this part off your plate by, as you said, Lorraine, you're right. You need a deadline
Yeah.
for yourselves
Mhm.
because there's a lot of other parts of this that you're going to have to still be taken care of. Make sense?
It really does. And if we had that as our deadline, then the brothers that have still got younger children that are going to start school, everybody can be back to a normal life by September.
Yeah.
So that would work well.
Yeah. I think you've got to keep it during the summer. I think if you go beyond that, you will lose people coming with kids and
Right.
all of that. Okay, good. So have either of you sold a house before?
I've
No.
sold one.
No.
I haven't.
Okay, first timer.
Mhm.
I love that. So as you've been thinking about selling mom's house, what have you in your mind thought, Amy? I want to make sure this realtor does X. What was important to you?
The yard.
Okay.
She has these amazing trees, and my kids would just climb those trees, and it had lots of shade. She has these beautiful rose bushes in the back. They're in bloom right now, and we pick them and enjoy them, and that just reminds me of my mom.
Okay. So you're hoping that I'll highlight those things
I
to
would-
potential
I think
buyers?
That would be helpful.
Good, good. Lorraine, you've sold houses before. When you've either worked with a realtor, not worked with a realtor, there may have been things you love, may have been things you wish they'd done or didn't do. Tell me a little about what you're hoping I would bring to the table for you.
I would hope that you, there's quite a few things.
Well, tell me them all.
Well,
I'm okay with that.
okay. So help us feature the beautiful things of the home. I mean, yes, it's a little cluttered, but it's got some characteristic to it. It's older, so that falls into your photos, I'm sure.
Right.
And I would bet you do really great photos. So,
Well, I don't, but the professional photographer does.
oh yeah, okay, that's great.
So,
We're
yes,
good with that.
You don't want
So-
mine.
Yeah, no, we don't. We want a professional. So, okay, so the photos, the the outside yard. I mean, there's good things about the yard, but we need to get some manicuring going on
Okay.
for those photos. So
Okay, do you have
we'll be on-
some people or can the family help with that
Yeah.
part or do you need? I have a very fat Rolodex, literally it's a Rolodex. And so if we need assistance, if you don't have somebody that does something, please reach out to me because
Okay.
chances are I have somebody in my Rolodex.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
And we'll need you. I think the paint's probably needing to be redone.
When we
So-
walk through it, let me make that call, okay?
Okay.
And give you my opinion on that.
All right.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of wallpaper.
Bless her heart. It was
Yeah.
in style back then. I know. It's not.
Gosh, I forgot
It's
about all
actually,
that wallpaper.
yeah, it's coming
Oh.
back, but yeah, not
Do you think
necessarily.
we're going to need to take that down?
Let's
just-
look
I'm
at it
getting
when we walk through.
overwhelmed, and
Nope,
I'm not
let's-
sure how we're
We're
going
going
to
to
do
make a list.
that.
You're going to bring a pad of paper and we're going to make a list so that you are not overwhelmed. And so you can delegate to some other family members some of that list.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I believe if we have to invest in the house, I want to invest in ways that would bring you all a return. Okay. So we'll want to do that.
I've been really worried about the driveway. There's a big crack where it's settled and it's not even, so it's a tripping hazard.
Okay.
And
So let's look at that.
Yeah, we'll need to.
All right. Anything else that you're hoping I'll bring to the table? I want to make this an easy, as stress-free as this can possibly be.
Yeah.
For you?
This home is just around the corner from me, and I'll
Oh,
be
good.
driving by it a lot.
Good.
And I want good neighbors
Okay.
to be in this home.
Good.
How can we make sure they're a good family? I don't want this to be a home that gets trashed.
Well, I don't know that we'll know for sure, but I'll certainly ask questions and share anything I can get from you before you all make those decisions.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sounds
hopefully
great.
that'll be
Thank you.
easy.
Sounds really
I
good.
haven't met many icky neighbors, so I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
All right, good. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely, how honest do you want me to be with you all
A
through
10.
this process?
Maybe a 9. I'm still feeling a little emotional and not sure how much
I
I can
can-
take.
For you, I'll be softer.
Thank you.
Okay, but I'll tell you the truth.
And I'm a
Okay.
10 because I've done it before.
Yeah.
And I know how much
Exactly,
that means.
exactly. And I'd like you all to be a 10 with me.
Okay.
I failed mind reading 101. I'm not good at hints. I'm just really good if you're just really direct with me. That helps me. And I think it's important that we know how to communicate with one another, because honestly, for this to work the best for you, we have to be a team of 3
Sure.
working together to get this done. Okay? All right, wonderful, wonderful. Let's take a walk through the house, and will you take a pad of paper and a pen? And I want you to take notes as we go. We're going to do that room by room by room, Amy, and that will make it much easier for you.
Okay.
Okay? All right. I'm going to do a quick little stop for a second. All right. So talk to me a little about that initial visiting time. Yes,
So you go straight to the table and sit down and do that.
I do.
You don't walk the house.
I do not. I have to build a relationship of trust before I go in and say, you got to pull all this wallpaper down, or this sucks, or this is, filthy, or this is a hoarder house, or I literally have to build a relationship. So I was talking to Lorraine or Chris earlier about the order in which I do things. I've had people after they've been to my presentation class come up to me and say, Lee, my presentation is just like yours, and I'm not getting the same results you are. And so I have set time a couple of times with agents and said, let's just meet and you give me your presentation. So we met at a different time. Both times I did that, their presentation was exactly like mine. It was just in the wrong order. So there's a real reason I do this in the order I do this. Okay? So if you take nothing else away today, please take the order away. That will make you more money. Okay?
I feel emotionally invested. I felt like I was almost going to cry thinking about my mom
Yeah.
dying. And I feel pretty,
Yeah.
it feels like a team.
Yeah.
I feel very emotionally
Yeah.
into this right now.
Yeah.
That's-
And she had no
Time
idea
is
what the
close.
story was going to be or anything, guys. If I'd had
Yeah.
a guy and a gal, I would have been husband and wife. We would have had a different story. But 2 ladies were going to do mom
So
dying.
I guess I'm saying I feel very connected to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just sharing those
And I did
things.
too. Like, you are totally on our side.
Mhm.
This is the best.
Yeah.
You're gonna
It
give us
just
everything
feels-
we need.
Yeah.
There's a trust already built, right? Would you say
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Other things you noticed in the back.
I love how you're taking the guesswork out of everything. Like, you're finding their hidden thoughts and doubts that they might not even consciously know that they have. I love the question that you said, what were you thinking when you wanted the realtor or your realtor to do X?
So they gave me an answer, both of them, that was different than any answers I've ever had in all my years in real estate. Okay?
Good or
So
bad?
typically, and
Good.
it may be that I didn't word it well. So not that anybody was wrong, but it may also be that I changed my wording or something. So I said, what is it that you would like a realtor to do? What would you like me to bring to the table? And typically, what do you guess is the number one answer I get?
Good
Price. Best price. What's the number 2 answer I get? Marketing. Thank you. Whoever said marketing. Marketing. Time would be 3rd. It was none of those things. And that's okay. And I honestly wrote them down, the things they said, because later when we're doing stuff, I want to make sure I go back and close that loop. Whatever that loop was that they said, I take the notes on the back of my dumb manila envelope. And next time you come to sell, I come to my office and I'll show you. I have a stack of dumb manila envelopes that all the notes are written on the back of every single one of them for every listing I've had this year. I just keep them all for the year till I log them in at the end. Okay? All right. Any other ahas? Yes.
I really liked how you took anything that could have been judgmental or negative and made sure that they felt comfortable. Like when they brought up the wallpaper, you're like, oh, well, that was in the style at that time.
Yeah.
It wasn't a, oh, I can't believe we're going to have to do this. It was
Yeah.
building up that sense that you understand the situation and there's no like judgment or like
Good.
negativity.
Yeah. So I have a belief here, and I'll get to both of you. My belief, my driving belief in my 53 years in real estate has been that if I help enough people get what they want, I'll always get what I want. So for me, it has always been since I was 19, what can I do for them to get them where they want to go? Whether that's closure, whether that's selling it to fund the money, whether it's whatever it is, but I have to listen with two ears and find out what those things are and talk with one mouth. Okay, I had a hand up here.
Yeah, Amy said that she's not in a hurry. She's not emotionally ready to rush this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm watching as you're picking up on things like it would be good for us to set a date.
Mhm.
Or which holidays might we get together? So you're finding ways to kind of move this along
Mm-hmm.
and still respecting the fact that she's not ready to be rushed.
Yeah.
And that's something that I run into frequently.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to sell this
Right.
right now, but they want to sell their home.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to help them through these hurdles, these barriers that
Right.
they're putting up, and not prolong the misery,
Right.
but still be respectful of their timing.
I think that is important. And the reality is moving is an expandable job. If I gave you 2 weeks to get it done, we get the whole family except the brother in Thailand. They'd all come in, bust their butt, and help you do that. If I gave them 6 months, honestly, at month 5.5 is when all those siblings will come together. I just know that from experience. But for her, the delay is not about the cleaning of the house. For her, the delay is the heart of losing mom and getting to go through things. So giving her some time, but I would at some point in time always be explaining, I'm okay selling a house in November and December. I work 12 months of the year. But the reality is we will have lots less buyers. I am going to have to explain that at some point in time, just like I do with people that say I'm not in a hurry. They're going to have the same problem. All right, hand up over here.
Yeah, I had a question. I can't remember. Was asking about the landscaping? Like somebody to help. I just want to know if in your mind that was you were hoping that she would, I guess, provide the service for the landscaping, or if that, or what was in your mind going on when you asked that question?
I know for me, I liked the landscaping. I didn't know my sister didn't like the landscaping. She said it needed manicured.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight the roses and the trees. That was where my
She wasn't
points were.
asking me to do anything
And
other
then
than highlight the
I wanted
features.
100% curb appeal.
Lorraine said it needed
Yeah.
manicured.
So when you're asking about manicuring, was that as a hope that she would provide, the agent would provide that manicuring, or was that?
It was the hope of her giving me feedback on, are we at a 6 or are we at a, I know we're not at a 10, but where are we there?
So we'll go out and look at the, yeah. Now, it's funny you mentioned this because on the 30th of May, my client Talia went over to her grandfather's house that I sold and closed on 3 weeks ago. With permission, I put it in the contract to go over and do grafting of 2 plants that her grandmother had planted 50 years ago so she could put them in her yard. So this pride in the landscaping and all of that, it's not that it's unheard of. It happens. So I take it seriously.
I guess I was referring more to like, as an agent, when you get asked about the landscaping, like if you'll provide the funds, I guess.
Yeah, I've never had anybody ask me to provide the funds for landscaping. I don't think that either one of them were implying that.
Okay. I
And-
had that just yesterday because I did my grandpa's house, and I just did it for free for
Yeah.
First
So-
mistake on my first
Yeah,
being
so
on it.
that's
grandson.
called being a grandson. I had my grandson hat on backwards. That was not my realtor hat. Yeah. So I think that's an okay response to do too. But I do have a big Rolodex, which I've covered with them, which I think helps. Okay. So this next part of the presentation is where we actually get up and go room by room. Before we leave the table, I usually go through some basic landscape or basic staging situation. But because this house is going to be emptied out, I really don't need to go through my basic staging conversation. But let me ask the class, do you all want me to go through my basic staging conversation? Because that is 90% of the time, that's what I'm having to do. So we'll play a different role model game here and I'll just do some talking. So the interesting thing, Amy and Lorraine, is when we sell a house these days, we have to sell it twice. Once online and once in person. And so online is like the most important because they never come in person unless they've seen it online. And they're going to see it online on a screen this big or on a screen this big. So how it looks in the photos, I call photo day fake living day. It'll never look like that again. Okay, but we're going to make it look that way. When was the last time the two of you walked into a model home for new construction?
I happened to be at one last week.
Okay, perfect. So you'll remember this. Was there a single trash can inside?
No.
Toilet bowl cleaner,
No,
dog dish,
no,
little teeny rugs at the sinks and
no,
bathroom. No. Shampoo, soaps, toothbrushes.
none.
None. Matter of fact, I bet they had a big shelf on one room and there was a little whale statue here and 3 books turned sideways on that shelf. And that was about it.
That's right.
Fake living. Okay. So the wonderful thing about fake living is this. It allows a buyer to then walk in and imagine their own selves, their own stuff inside this house because they're not overwhelmed with my stuff, your stuff. Okay. So that's why we do that. Want them to, we're not selling the furniture, we're selling the house, and we need them to see the house, not all the stuff. So some basic rules, 3 things that never belong in a house when you're selling it. Dead animals. I'm in Utah. Deer, elk, moose, buffalo. I have them all. Okay. Get them off the wall. And then the next is that no personal pictures. I watch people get to in front of that family picture of the 3 generations and all the grandkids and all, and they just stop looking at the house and go, oh, I wonder which are her kids.
Yeah.
I think it's that one and maybe that one and that. I totally lose them.
Yeah.
And they're focused on your, so no. Okay, no photo.
We have a lot.
I
That
know,
will be a lot
everybody
of
does.
work. Do we have to take them all down?
Yes. And
Leave
here's
them in
the
the hallway.
here's the good news. Yes, especially in the hallway. Here's the good news. You're going to pack them all up because you're going to take them. These are important. So I want you to go get a roll of that bubble wrap. And then I want you to go to Chick-fil-A and call the manager of Chick-fil-A, the one closest to you. Just ask them when you could pick up their frozen boxes, cardboard boxes, because they're the right size for pictures. They got lifts on the side. You can stack them. The photos will never get damaged. And I want you to get those done and just put them, mark them well, put them aside because they're going with you. There's no reason you're leaving those behind, right? Okay.
True.
Right.
Okay.
All the nail holes. Sorry. All
Yeah.
the nail holes.
So I
We'll
want
go
to,
over that,
yeah,
or-
so I'm going to want to see what the nail holes look like afterwards. If they're big, I'll probably have you do some work on those. Got a couple of tricks on that. If they're not big, maybe not. So let's get them down first and then we'll see. And then religious things. We don't know who's going to buy it. We don't care. The reality is take them down. That can be distracting. It's the house we're selling.
Sure.
Okay?
Can we leave up a few mirrors and a
Yeah,
few things
mirrors,
like that?
mirrors and artwork are good. Yep. No trash cans on fake living day. That's only the day the photographer's there. Okay. Fake living day. No trash cans, no dog bowls, none of the small rugs. The big area rug you have over there in the living room, that's perfect. But the little ones in the bathroom, which I have 2 in my bathroom. I get this. But they're typically brightly colored. So here's what happened. The photographer takes the picture, and when you're looking at it on the screen, your eye goes right to that hot pink or that turquoise rug. Well, that's the smallest room in your house. I want the eye to go through that room. Okay. I want a solid tri-folded towel on that oven door because I want the eye to go through and see how big that kitchen is. Okay. So we're going to use some tricks, some colors, some things in order to make the pictures a better sell for your house. Okay. Flat surfaces. Every flat surfaces get cleaned off. Flat surfaces are fronts and sides of fridges, dressers, tables, anything that has a flat surface. You take everything off, you only put that back, which is decorative. Okay?
Okay.
So those are just some kind of plain rules that I use in every staging of a house. Now let's go through yours and let's make specific notes on what we need to do. Okay? All right. Time out for a second. So we don't need to go through this house, and the reality is she's going to take everything off. But that's my basic staging. I just rearranged. I've got a new listing coming up. Doing the sneak peek next week from Friday. And in the living room, I just had them get rid of the bookshelves. And this mom had died, so this is very much what I'm dealing with right now. Mom had died, so they had these 3 giant bookshelves where you kind of put the TV in the middle, big cabinet things. And I say, make that gone, and the sofa's got to go on that side, and that chair in front of the fireplace has to go over with this chair in front of the. I mean, it's all about what are the features we're trying to highlight. I can't highlight a fireplace if I got a chair in front of it. Yes.
What's your script if you're going to recommend professional staging?
I'm trying to think of who I've had last. So I have one right now. Matter of fact, the stagers are coming tomorrow afternoon to remove everything because we sold the house. So with Shu Ying's house, she has brown furniture, overstuffed leather. Browns and grays don't photo really well, but you can use pops of color in some throws or pillows to kind of help it. But this is a multi-million-dollar house, and her stuff wasn't a multi-million-dollar luxury home. It was a comfortable home that they lived in for 20 years that they designed. And I said to her, she's moving to the Pacific Northwest. I said, how much of this furniture are you planning on taking with you to your new house? That was really my first question. And she said, probably next to nothing. And I said, tell me a little about why. And she said, well, we're going to go to a smaller home. This is 5,600 square feet. It's just her and her little Chinese parents, so just the 3 adults, and they live pretty lean. So it probably won't fit, and we don't really know where we're going to go. We're probably going to stay. I've got she has a small condo there that they'll stay in temporarily while she looks for a house for them to live in. And I said, okay. So we should figure out what you're going to do with this. You could try selling it. I know, and there's an organization, 503C or whatever you call it, that helps migrants coming in who come in with nothing. She liked that one, so we ended up using that one. And so she just decided that she's going to sell what she wanted and then donate the rest. And I said, then why don't you just do that? Because that way you don't have to go out and buy 5 new bedspreads, because none of the beds had bedspreads on them. Well, I can't do a photo shoot that way. So she was going to have to go buy 5 of those. And we had some chairs that needed to be moved. And she's teeny and moving all this heavy stuff. I said, really? Why don't you just empty it? And we'll just get a stager in. And she can stage the whole thing, and it'll look like $1 million. And because of that, it'll sell for more. We ended up selling it for $275,000 more than she thought the house was worth. She thought the house was worth. Okay. So I just then made the introduction and had Helena come out and meet with her. And then she made the decision that made absolutely perfect sense. And when I went to see it after Helena got done, she said to me, she said, look at this. I went, oh my gosh. She said, I know. I want to take her to the Pacific Northwest with me and make her do my next house. It looks so great. So that's how that one went.
Just one quick follow-up question. You'll probably find this horrible, but I've been paying for the staging. How do you get your client, what's going to get your client to pay for the staging?
I'm not sure what it's going to cost you, but you should ask Helena. See if it's worth it. I've never paid for staging.
I know you said that.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah. And my one,
Many people in here have paid for staging.
how many of you have paid for staging? Well, stop it. Helena also, as I said, she did the Linden house that I had that had the mix up of old stagers furniture that didn't go together. And that one, she only had to probably bring in 5 or 6 pieces, and then a lot of softness to the house, a lot of throws and artwork and things like that. In Shu Ying was like, look at every bit of artwork matches every room. She was so impressed with what Helena did. And by the way, I don't know what she paid for it. I could ask Helena. She only did a 6-week plan. Her 6 weeks are up this Friday. The stuff is being removed this Wednesday. So it was a one and done plan. My one in Linden, not so lucky there. They had to keep renewing. But they did keep renewing. Okay.
Say how much it was? Like how much this is?
No. Paris, do you know how much you paid on yours recently?
One was like $3,000.
Okay. Yeah. See, I'm not paying that. I do the virtual staging. It's like $45 a room. That's an easy one for me to do. I'm not paying the other staging. And the one I had Helena do, this one also was up on F Street in the Avenues, and it was a bachelor. And, he had 3 or 4 good pieces, and he had already moved half his stuff. And I said, okay, let's move the other half and keep these 3 or 4 pieces. And Helena agreed with me which pieces should stay. And the rest of it, we just had him take. And so she just supplemented it. So it's variable based on what they're doing.
So if, so your question to them is like, how do you say it again, for them to pay? You say,
I don't know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, you need to talk to Helena about that.
what if they don't want you to stage? And you really think they should?
Well, I've had others that don't stage, that should. And then it's just me taking a firm hand in what we need to do. I mean, a lot of times it's really removing stuff more than adding stuff. How many of you remember or are familiar with the bar stools that pull out from the metal thing and that has a little foot lift up on the tile floor underneath? So I had one of those a few years ago, Shauna and John Richard's house. And every time I've had one of those, the comment I get from everybody coming through is, oh, that's so dated. And oh, that's so hard to fix because they've raised the floor. It really is not an easy one to fix. You can unscrew the little things and throw those away. But now you have this floor lifted up like this much, footstool kind of thing underneath. And so when I got theirs and they had brown furniture also. So I'd asked them what colors they were going to use in their new house. They were building a new house. And so they were going to use turquoise and yellow. And I said, great. So let's buy pillows to brighten up the brown furniture and the gray furniture with turquoise and yellows. And that will be our pops of color. And then you can reuse them. And on these 3 stools, there were 3 stools, let's use purple turquoise, yellow, and bright orange, those 3 colors. And John, I want you to paint each of those stools and the backs of them a different color. Bright. I mean, these are bright turquoise, bright yellow, bright orange. And he's like, really? And I said, really? Because they're all going to tell me it's out of date. So really, I'd like you to do that for me. So, and then we used a bright turquoise towel and a bright yellow. And so we picked it up throughout the house. So when I did the grand opening, it was a family home, big 2-story. I knew it was going to be a family. Every time somebody came in the house, they came in with kids, which I expected. And I'd say to the kids, hey, go in the kitchen. pick out your chair. Let me know which one. It became the thing. Not one person said to me, well, that's old fashioned. We'd have to remodel that. Not one person. Okay. So sometimes you take what you've got and you figure out how to make it into something. And I always ask them on their next house what their color palette's going to be, because I'm not set on what the colors need to be on a remodel or a pops of color kind of thing. But if they can reuse something, I'd prefer that. I've had clients, and I tell you this, embarrassingly, but I have had clients who've gone to TJ Maxx, got the bed in the bag, you know, with the pillow shams and all that stuff for $49.99, and used it for fake living day on the photo shoot, and then put it back in the box and returned it. So, I mean, I have had them do that, because a master bedroom is one of the 3 rooms. It's got to be masterful. It can't be wimpy.
So I like to use this with my clients, and it still has not been 100% sell as to whether they will pay or not, and that's when I pick it up. But its statistics have shown that an unstaged home, well, buyers will stay an average of 4 minutes in an unstaged home. In a staged home, they stay an average of 40 minutes. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I've watched it. I've seen it with buyers, you know, both staged and unstaged. So,
Yeah. So this little one that I have that the mom, Loretta, has passed away. Her sister Lynette and brother Randy are the 2 I'm working with. And so I've made them move the furniture. They have nice furniture. I've had them empty everything out except the stuff that I'm wanting to keep in the house for staging. It's not modern, but in this particular community, it doesn't need to be. The chances are the person buying it is going to be somebody 55 or older. They're used to those colors. They're used to those styles. I'm not having to make it a modern wonder. I'm not having to dress it up for a family and make it fun. And that I really think about who your clientele is going to be, who your buyer is going to be on this house, and make it right for them. If I had to attract 40-year-olds, I would be changing the furniture. I don't have to attract 40-year-olds on this one. Now, they could not find, they have pillows it's an open floor plan, so they have pillows in the living room that have celery green in the pillows and a print. And they had not one solid dishcloth. And I said, you need to get a celery dishcloth. And Lynette said to me, I have been to this place, 3 places. And I said, then stop looking. I will find one. I went over to Home Goods across the street from my office, 3 for whatever, and dropped off one. And, you know, so you can do those kinds of things, but I'm not paying for staging. Last question, then we need to keep going.
With the example of those stools, is that something you could think of on the spot? Or
I
is that
did.
something, is it sometimes that you have to think about it and get back to them about those kinds of things?
Yeah, you could. You could. I normally think of them on the spot. It's funny, though, is when I took the walk through Loretta and Randy's mother's house, we'd walk through and then we'd gotten all done with that. Now we were sitting in the living room, and I'm sitting on the sofa in the living room. Usually I'm at a kitchen table like this. But we were sitting in the living room, and as I sat there, I just was like, it just wasn't feeling right. You know, the front door entry's here, then you've got a walkway. I'm sitting on the sofa that's kind of in that traffic pattern. I'm looking at that big, heavy bookshelf going, this room is reversed. And so, yeah, that created a problem. So I didn't think of it at the moment, but I was still at the house. But just sitting in the piece, and the bedrooms were not masterful, so they do have to get a new. And luckily, Lynette has one at her house, so they don't have to buy one. They're borrowing hers to do that. So yeah, it all works out. But the thing I remember on listings, and this is true with your buyers also, they're hiring you to make their dreams come true. They're asking you to be their leader. If you are not leading them and you find yourself being pulled by the nose behind them, you've not got the right role. Okay? We do have to have hard conversations. I'm great with families who have kids. I have a whole family meeting. I sit down with the kids and I go, so here's the deal. Selling the house and it doesn't all fall on you guys. But you're going to like me a lot because when I stop in and you're not knowing when I'm coming, when I stop in, if your room is cleaned, you check underneath your pillow. I leave treats. What's your favorite kind of treat? And I write it down. Okay? Open house, I'm putting stuff under their pillows for each of them. If I'm walking through the house, I'm checking. Everybody's got to be on the same page. It can't just fall to the mom or it can't just fall to the dad or whatever. We do a little family meeting. So it does take having hard conversations sometimes. Okay? Be willing to have them because your job is to make their dream come true, not to just say yes all the time. It's going to be hard sometimes. Okay, we got to keep going. All right, so we come back. So when we come back here, now we're back into our role play. So you've got the list.
It's a long list.
It's a long list. It is. That's why I say this part of the process, Amy, I call the heavy lifting. And I'm glad that Lorraine is here to help you with it because honestly, it's heavy lifting. You know how many will probably come over the Pioneer Day holiday to help. But looking at that list, are there some things that the two of you could do ahead of time? Are there some things that we need to give your brother John a whole list of, honey, here's your stuff?
Yep. It's his
Okay.
time.
Start delegating it out.
It's pretty obvious, well, on a lot of the things, which brother will want and what he's good at doing and, where they'll be able to step up and help.
Okay. So maybe Post-it notes with names on. Okay. My mother has us right on the back of all her art. If you want that picture, our name is written on the back. Okay. So just naming some of those things. Getting some boxes from Chick-fil-A. If you know some of these things are going to go to so-and-so or would likely go to so-and-so, and you do some sorting, that's great. Let's play fast forward for a second, Amy. Let's say you've got now about 5 weeks, maybe 6, before the whole family comes. 2 of you can do what you can do. DI is a great place to go. Savers is a good place to go. Neither of those pick up, but they're both good places to fill the trunk of the car every time you're heading out of the house. Never leave this house without a trunk full. Okay, make a stop. But let's say the family comes on the 24th. They leave on the 26th. And you know they're going to take their things. Now let's think about what's left.
There still might be quite a bit, huh?
Oh, very
Books,
possibly.
lots and
Yeah.
lots of books,
Yeah.
lots and lots of dishes.
She had a lot of clothes. She was a different size than most of us are. So I don't think anybody will want the clothes, but we can do that ahead, right? I mean, get rid
Yeah,
of the clothes.
maybe
Yeah.
some of the
Well,
grandkids want to try them
that's
on,
true.
so let's keep them.
Okay.
So I think-
Don't move too fast.
Yeah, I'm going to make a list or suggest you make a list, Amy, of the things and you send it out to all the family members and see who pops up as interested. Most of my clients are always so disappointed that their kids and grandkids don't want their stuff. And I'm like, that's because they don't hold sentimental value to things. They have sentimental
Yeah.
value to memories, but not to things. So let's see how many of them really care about it, and let's find some organizations that could benefit for those things that they don't care about. Okay?
Sounds
And
good.
do that. But I think you've got to get busy because my worry is if you leave it all till then they're all gone, Amy, and they're not coming back.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
now it really is all on you.
Yes.
So I think it's going to take some getting.
Got to be ultra organized.
Yeah, so making a list beforehand, sending it out, and
Mhm.
we can get rid of some things
Yeah.
before they come.
Yep. And then let's think about forwarding it because, as I said, summertime's kind of the better time. So let's say that they all came at the end of July, and when they left, you still had, let's say 2 or 3 weeks. Matter of fact, let's pull out the calendar and look. Let's say August 15th. Okay. So that'd be 3 weeks after they left. You could get it all done. If you get it all done, then we still have to photo it. Then I want to virtually stage it. Then we need to plan the grand opening, which I'll explain in a little bit. And we have a holiday called Labor Day that we can't inflict. So it probably would be like the 9th or 10th of September before you got this on the market. So now we're into fall and the kids are all in school. So I'm okay with this. I just want you all to be thinking, is that really when we want to have it on the market? Is this doable? Do we need to move it forward? Do we need to move it back? What's the risk of not getting it done within that timeline? Now am I getting into bad weather and nobody wants to move in the snow?
What if we did the grand opening Labor Day weekend?
No, nobody will come.
No.
I'll never win over a holiday. It's their last chance for a summer vacation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
before or after?
Yeah.
I'd really like to see if we could have it done before because summer is ending and that is our best bet for the big selling.
She's not wrong, Amy.
Yeah.
In that regard, she is not wrong.
Do you think it's possible? Do you think, looking at this house, do you think we could do it? I'm not sure.
Well, I
I'm
think,
so uncertain.
yeah,
You've seen this before.
I have lots of times. It is absolutely possible. It is going to be hard work. But it's expandable. It's going to be hard work whether you decide it's going to take you 4 months or you decide it's going to take you 3 weeks. It's still the same amount of hard work. How long can you stay from your home in Arizona?
I need to be back the end of September for sure,
Okay.
but I would like to be back sooner. So I don't know. I'd really like to move everything forward if we can. I think we can do it.
So maybe, what would it look like if we wanted to list it end of August? Do you think maybe we should shoot for middle to end of
Well,
August?
what I'm talking about right now would be listing it August 15th, and that still doesn't get you on the market till September. Okay? Another thought is invite them all for 4th of July.
Okay.
I know that this is hard for you,
Mhm.
but that's 3 weeks away. Invite them to come, then take the 3 weeks you may need. Now we're still in July and be on the market. All done with everything and on the market the 1st of August. Now you'd be out of here by September.
It'd
That
be
would
hard
be
work, but
It'll be hard work no matter when we do it.
But
Real clear about
it
that.
would be
Have it
nice.
done sooner.
Okay. All right. So, Amy, I had sent you my pre-marketing plan, and I didn't have your email, so I apologize, Lorraine. You may not have gotten it. Did you have a chance in all of this to go through it?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Did you have any questions on the marketing that I do?
You said something about thousands of websites.
Mhm.
I don't quite understand
No,
like, how you get it out to 1,000 websites.
I'm magic. Just magic. I'm also the least tech savvy realtor you'll ever meet, but thankfully I have a team who's really good at that. So I can't begin to tell you how they do it. I just know that 90% of people, actually more than 90%, will see the house online before they ever come here. It is now our number one way. You're old enough to remember when we had newspapers and the ads were in there and you just drove around. Not our grandma's real estate anymore. Okay? So I can't begin to tell you how we do it. I just can tell you we do it.
does.
It happens.
It does
And it
get
makes
world-
all the difference in the world.
Okay.
All the difference in the world. As does Fake Living Day, our staging the photos and making use of that on 1,000 websites. Okay?
So you market it you said on the MLS and a Keller Williams website. and
Yeah,
it gets to more people.
internationally, nationally, local, region, all of it. Yeah,
Thank you. I was really wondering how that all worked.
yeah, yeah. I in my mind, I still think it's magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can't see it, touch it, hold it, it's magic. But it works, and I've harnessed it.
Yeah.
So that's good. So did it sound like the marketing plan you'd want to
It
get
sounds
moms?
like you do a whole lot.
We
Yeah.
do.
We had
We
thought
do.
about, selling it ourselves, but I think if we did that, we wouldn't get the word out as much as you're gonna do.
No, you definitely wouldn't.
And your Google reviews are just over the top. So
Yeah.
that's why you're
Yeah.
here.
If you got over 1,000 people saying they're really, really good, you should listen.
Yeah. The video was really fun to see your team.
Yeah. I got a good group. All right. Well, if that's the case, then why don't we do this? Is there any reason we shouldn't move forward if we can agree on price?
That's what I was gonna ask is price. That's
That's our
probably
next one.
next big thing
Last
before we
best
move
of all the
forward.
game.
Okay,
Let's
perfect.
do it.
All right, quick time out here. That really is the format I follow. So we ask the questions, we walk through the house, we come back, and I typically write the timeline on the back of this envelope, the date the photographers are coming, the date it's going on the MLS, the date of the grand opening, the date we will look at offers. All of that is written on here. Once we've walked through the house and they have some idea of how much time it's going to take them to do whatever it is I need them to do, then we've got that. Well, I have them pull out their family calendar or their thing, or I write it on the inside front cover of their CMA so that they've got those same dates. So now we're all committed. Are they going to list with anybody else once we have our dates all scheduled? No, you're done. Now it's just the details. Okay. So we're going to do pricing. This is one on some people that I have not met yet with, but I'm going to. She got sick, and so we've had a delay. So I'm going to have to redo the CMA anyways. So this is what I know about this house. So we're now not at mom's house. I'm not saying this is mom's house. So this is a house that a woman bought 38 years ago as a divorced mom of one. She remarried probably 20 years ago, and they have done nothing to this house. They have pushed me away 3 different appointments out of embarrassment. So I have not seen the house. Do I have a picture in my mind of what it's going to look like? Oh, yes, I do. You think mom might have been a hoarder? Oh, no, I think these guys are going to be way big hoarders. I think it's going to be a mess, okay? And they have told me it is, and I believe them. If they have been too embarrassed and have find stupid reasons to cancel, and yet they want to go see houses, and I said, we're not going to see. We did a dating day. We can't go see another house because you can't buy it. Because you have to take care of your house first. So that's next step 1. So I've stopped them, and now they're forced to have me over, which is happening next week. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so what I've done is we're going to, again, play with you guys and role play this. But so this is the house, Lorraine, when you first bought it. Back in, oh gosh, what was it? 1996. Like, what is that? 28 years or
Yeah.
30? Yeah, 28 years ago. And boy, did you make a good buy. $102,000.
We did.
High five,
Yeah.
girl. Smart investment, single mom, really good on your part to have bought a house.
I
So
was
few,
really happy.
yeah, so few single moms could do that and still can do that. So thank you.
Yes.
All right. So my job was to say, okay, without seeing your house, but you've been very honest with me about what to expect. And you didn't overplay it. You're right. There's lots to do, and it's not been one that you've done any updating on, and it's going to show that way. So in addition to getting everything packed up and organized and probably into a pod, as we talked about, let's talk about what things have been selling for that are in similar shape. And I brought photos. Okay.
Okay.
So
wow.
this first one sold this year for $352,500.
Okay.
Okay. It's a little larger. about 200 square feet larger than yours. Again, no garage or carport because you didn't have one. And they sold it as is. Remember how you said you'd like to not have to do the work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's see what this looks like and see, does this look like yours? Notice that it's emptied. Okay.
Yeah.
They got all their stuff boxed up, moved. Okay. All right.
Okay.
This next one, 381. Okay. This one is your size. No garage or carport. What does it say?
As is.
All right. Let's look and see what the photos look like. First of all, this looks pretty darn good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Those cabinets look better than Mom's.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, all emptied so you can begin to visualize the space. They also had this really nice patio out back, covered patio that, you don't have on your house.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the open railing. So to me, it
Ooh.
feels like it looks a little better
Yeah.
than Mom's house looks.
Yeah,
And
it
that may
does.
be why they got that price.
Mhm.
Now, they're not 100% finished in the basement. They have part of it finished, but not 100%.
Our yard looks better than that one, though.
Yeah, your mom loved the yard. You can
Yes.
tell. All right. And then this one, now we start with carports. So this one sold at $420, but it's got a carport. Size is right.
Mm,
Okay. And it's again being sold as is.
yeah.
Okay. But let's look and see what it looked like and how it compares. Please notice they have the driveway problems that you mentioned,
There
and
it
they
is.
still sold it as is.
Okay.
Okay. But again, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So let's pretend, because those are all the ones that are as is. Let's pretend you are a buyer and you were looking to buy this house. Let's say you were picking it up for a grandkid. This is a wedding gift. You're being extra gracious this year with this grandkid. He's your only grandson. And your agent took you out to look at it and you went, okay, this is the right size for a starter home, because that's what this is. Your agent's going to take you back and look at these comparables before you write an offer, if you decide that's the right. So you got a 352, and you saw what that one looked like. And then you've got a 385 and a 324. Looking at those pictures, what are you going to pay for this house? You're buying it for your grandson.
I would hope to get the 352.
Okay.
Well, I was hoping to get 380. That's what
Oh,
I
you
really
mean for
wanted to
ours.
get. But
Oh,
she asked
sorry.
your question. No, she asked the question of what we would buy. But
Mhm.
I've been having this. I've already had the 380 in my head, so now it's hard for me to think about that. But I think Lorraine's kind of right. But I didn't want to go there. I'm really thinking 380. But I'm kind of torn now that you bring that up, because I think you might be right.
Well, and we haven't, I mean, we've talked price once, but we really just didn't have
Well,
much of an idea.
I figured you didn't. That's why you had
We
me
didn't.
come. So, Lorraine, we might be able to get 380. Depends on how you girls work as a team, because you've got a job.
Yeah.
If you can get it emptied out, you notice these were all emptied. Okay. I need it sparkling clean, so we get it empty and then cleaning. And I've got a great cleaning crew. So
Oh, good. Thank
honestly,
you.
I don't think you need to do the cleaning, to be
Okay.
honest.
I didn't want it.
Are they expensive?
They're
I don't
not.
know.
No, they're not. And my clients
Will that be
rave about it.
expensive for us?
It shouldn't be too much for you. Yeah,
Okay.
they're not very expensive. I think where we can win is my staging, if I do virtual staging,
Mhm.
because then they'll focus on these other things. They'll focus on how it looks and how they could use it and how cute it could be, instead of how it looks now.
Oh. So you think maybe we could get closer to the 380 with that? I would really like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we all would. Yeah,
Okay. All right,
that would be
But
great.
that sounds expensive.
the
The
staging,
virtual staging.
I'm going to take care of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my part of the teamwork.
Wow.
You guys are doing the real heavy lifting.
Oh,
I'm
that
doing the
sounds
fun
really
stuff.
nice.
Okay. All right. So if we can agree on 380, which is at the top of where we should be based on what we've got, but I think between the three of us, we can make some magic here.
So you don't think that's too high?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't. I think we can make it look good. And I think there's not a lot of competition right now, and that's what helps. Now, we'll look at it again before we go live
Mhm.
on August 1st, just to make sure, but I think we'll be fine. If we were waiting till fall, I probably couldn't have that conversation with you, truthfully.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
That gives me some motivation
Yeah.
to work a little quicker.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think so.
We can do it.
All right, well, let's get the ball rolling, shall we?
Yes.
Okay. All right. End. Okay. You can turn those off. I stay plugged in. All right. Ahas or questions? Yes.
Just like you're gonna pay for staging.
Say it louder. I couldn't hear you.
You just said you're gonna pay for staging.
I pay for virtual staging. It's $45 a room. Yep. Happy to do that. $45 a room. Yep, for virtual staging. Thank you, girls.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if they want 25,000 more and your comps do not justify it?
Yeah, then I'd have to say no. And I would go back. I mean, truly, if they said that, I would say to them, tell me your name. Becca. So I would say to them, Becca, I'd love to sell it for $25,000 more, but here's the challenge. You made me promise you that I would be a perfect 10 on honesty, and the truth is you're not going to get it. Now, if we can create enough of a buzz, if we can stage it and get huge marketing, you get everything done, there is a chance actually that we will get more than the 380, but I don't know that we'll hit the 4. I had this exact same conversation with Talia, whose grandfather died. She had her uncle at the house. And I said, here are the comps. Here's where we need to be. And she understood and agreed. And I said, same conversation, hopefully, and I staged it, virtually staged it. I said, hopefully we'll get enough attention that we'll get multiple offers and get more than that. But if we price it more than that, nobody's going to come and see it. So I ended up with 13 offers. But the uncle said to me that day in the living room when we were having this conversation, he said, well, my goal for you is to get to 6. And I said, thank you. I've marked that down. I'm going to make that my goal too. 6:05. Called him up, had him come to closing, high-fived him. He didn't have to sign anything. He wasn't even the executor. He wasn't anything. But he was enough of a family member that they had him there at the listing presentation. So I wanted him to have the win at the end. Okay? So you price it right, do the marketing right, then you may get higher. But to price it over, nobody's going to come.
My cousin says he'll list it for 1%.
Well, certainly he knows his value better than I do.
I'm sorry, what did you say now?
Certainly he knows his value better than I do. But I got to ask you something. If he can't negotiate the money he feeds his family with, are you trusting him with your equity?
Well, yeah, because I want to save money on the commission.
You're stepping over dollars to pick up nickels, dude. My sellers net more. I'm typically 3. If you look on my sheet, I typically am free. You make more with me than you do with the average realtor. And sorry, somebody taking 1% is not an average guy or gal. Bottom feeder. Okay? All right. Other thoughts? Well, yes.
Question, how many years do you normally stage when you do the virtual staging?
3. The kitchen, the great room, and the master, the 3 that sell the house. Now, there'll be like, and the one in the avenues that I was talking about with Grandpa's house, he had a wonderful porch. It's an old craftsman style, 100-and-something-year-old house. I actually had him virtually stage the front porch, which is random, but I wanted it to look so charming that nobody would not want to go into it. Okay? Yes.
I have this limiting belief about virtual staging that I'm going to sell somebody online and then they're going to show up and not get that same emotional attachment that we want to create for somebody. And so I've never tried it and never believed in it. Obviously, it's something that's worked for you.
Well, don't you find sometimes you list the house, you take photos and your clients then move before the house is closing or sold.
Yeah,
And the
so
house
worry
is
about that
empty?
too.
Yeah. Well, they've gotten a visual online. I can sell a house once they come inside. I think the house can sell itself once they come inside. It's the getting them inside. That's the reason you stage or virtually stage or clean it and empty it. It's all about the online to get them to walk through the door. Once they walk through the door, they go, oh, this is big enough for my living room, or this is big enough for our master, or this is, you know, big enough for us to have everybody come for Thanksgiving dinner or whatever their thing is. But online, you can't tell sizes. And by the way, empty houses are the worst because everything's just a rectangle and you have no idea how big a rectangle that is. It's just an empty rectangle with red carpet or brown carpet or blue walls or tan walls. I mean, you just don't know. So giving it some perspective helps them to be able to go, oh, look at it. Fits a sofa and a couple of chairs. And it looks like it might be big enough versus the squares. All of these were empty. Wasn't a single one. And that I think we can virtually stage it and bring in more money. Okay? That's questions, ahas. Give me a couple of ahas. And then I have to get out of here.
I like when you said, I quoted it, I'll never win over a holiday when listing a home. I didn't think that because I've never sold a home yet. I'm a brand new
Oh.
agent. So when you said that, I was like, oh, that's good. Because I was thinking like Amy, where, people would, it's a holiday, people aren't working. So
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah,